It's after Thanksgiving. You know what that means. Time for the Christmas ads to go on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of What You Missed News, and I'm really glad to see you here. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you guys enjoy this homey environment where we can come together and I can highlight some of the more important news stories that happened in the video game industry over the course of the last few days. Welcome back to What You Missed Gaming, the video game news show that knows it's dangerous to go alone and uninformed on the internet. So here, take this video game news with you, and stay informed, ladies and gentlemen. With that, let's jump into the news. So there's a guy who won a mobile game tournament and has nothing to say. Well, I've been there, ladies and gentlemen. You win a crappy game and you say to yourself, I don't really care if I won or I lost anyways. It's a terrible game. So there was a finalist who had won the tournament. Tomato, the Shanghai finalist for Summoner's War, went on to become its first world champion. And after a full day of battling elite players, when they asked if he had anything to say to the fans in the audience and online, he said no. That's literally all he said. So you just won the grand tournament. You're the first champion of this game ever. Do you have anything to say to us today? No. I think this does have to reflect upon the game itself. If it was a very tedious and difficult game, like if there was a tournament for speedrunning Dark Souls, you know, and you won, and you were the first champion of the world to officially speedrun Dark Souls the fastest in a tournament or something, I'm pretty sure you'd probably have something to say. The same with a lot of like the Nintendo World Champions. The winners usually go on record and have a little spiel and speech to say afterwards. This guy didn't really care to. I think that reflects greatly upon the game, but perhaps it reflects greatly more upon him. Perhaps he was too afraid to say anything to offend people from his country. Perhaps there's a different reason. Apparently, the prize pool was $61,000, so it's not like he's a millionaire or anything, but 61 grand is quite a bit of money, and so, congratulations, I guess. Speaking of Dark Souls, if Dark Souls was animated to look like Cuphead, you could take a look at this video and see what that would be like. There's a YouTube channel called 64 Bits, and it's a video game parody kind of channel, I guess, because that's what's on the front of this video here when you watch it. This is a very unique and interesting look at what Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls itself, would look like if it were animated in the Cuphead style. So I like it. It looks really, really cool. It's an interesting video to watch. And if you're a Dark Souls fan, or even if you're not and you're just a Cuphead fan, or you just like the animation style, this is something that you definitely would like to take a look at. I'll leave a link in the description down below, but definitely check it out. And leave them a like and a share, because this definitely took a long time to make. It's late 2017, and there are still Pokemon Go crowds in massive amounts in Japan. And I do mean this. There's a countryside in Japan, and you can see literally hundreds of people. It might be thousands, I'm not 100% sure here, but there are quite a few people, and they're all gathered around just to collect Pokemon. Which brings me to my next bit of news. Players have successfully caught 3 billion Pokemon in under a week. So FARFETCH'D is now spawning worldwide, but there's also another event. There's a global catch challenge also. So there's a bronze reward for 500 million catches, a silver reward for 1.5 billion catches, and a gold reward for 3 billion catches. Now the bronze and the silver rewards really don't matter. They just give you some items and experience and stuff like that. Whatever, that's fine. But the gold is that FARFETCH'D is going to be available worldwide, which it is. And then Kangaskhan is going to be available in East Asia. So there's that. If you're really, really interested in that, you can see the story down in the description below. You do need to reach these key milestones. Again, this is a group game, so you can't just do everything yourself. So there's that. So a 14-year-old that is being sued for cheating in an epic game, if you guys didn't realize this, Fortnite. This is a story I covered before. He's allegedly being sued for a scapegoat. Like, Epic is looking at him and saying he's going to be the scapegoat to show everyone, hey, you can't cheat in our games, or you're really going to be found out and you're going to be sued. So last month, Epic took an unusual step of not just banning 2 Fortnite players in the game for cheating, but also taking them to court. And one of them is 14 years old. Now, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer again, but I've had dealings with stories like this, so I've had to look into a lot of interesting and finer points of law and things like that, working on YouTube as well. And I gotta tell you right now, I really don't think Epic is going to win this lawsuit, even if they have very powerful lawyers. A 14-year-old child being sued is not going to be doing so well. So there's a few points that she addressed to the court directly in a letter, and these are the finer points. She states that Fortnite's team require parental consent for minors to play the game, and that she never gave this consent. Okay, so one, if she didn't give the consent and he did it on his own, that makes this illegal. He should be banned and he should not be permitted to play. But all of his actions are 100%, you can't reproach him. You can't punish them because he wasn't even legally allowed to play the game. So you understand how a judge would instantly see that. That would be the first point I would raise in court. If I was defending this kid, I'd say, Your Honor, this child did not have the consent to play the game. Therefore, I motion to dismiss this case. Here in the agreement, it states that you have to be 18 years or older to sign this or get parental consent to sign this. She didn't give consent. Dismiss the case, and the judge would likely dismiss the case. But there's more to this. She says the case is also based on a loss of profits and argues that it's a free-to-play video game worldwide, so the profit loss would be difficult to prove, stating and clarifying that cheating directly caused a mass profit loss. So they would have to prove that he caused a mass profit loss by cheating. Again, a very difficult thing to do. She also claims that by going after individual players instead of the websites selling or providing the software necessary to cheat in the online game, that they are using the 14-year-old as a scapegoat. I 100% agree. If you're going to go after the 14-year-old for using the cheating tools to cheat in the game, you also need to go after the website that provided them as well, because again, they are infringing on your software and they are causing you problems. She also claims that her son did not, as Epic alleges, help create the cheat software, but simply downloaded it as a user. Again, this is going to be difficult for Epic to prove that he had a hand in its creation. I'm not saying that 14-year-olds can't. I was very knowledgeable about computers as a 14-year-old, but things have changed nowadays. You can do a lot more with computers than when I was 14 around the late 90s. So there you go. She finally claims that by releasing her son's name publicly in conjunction with the move, that Epic has violated Delaware laws related to the release of information on minors. 100%, this is an open and shut case. Epic's going to lose that point. If they reside in Delaware, this is a worldwide company, this is a worldwide game, they do still have to conform to Delaware's laws because this is where he resides. And once again, you can't release the name of minors in conjunction with court cases, and that's unfortunate because Epic Games is probably going to lose this lawsuit or drop it or settle outside of court. More than likely, she could probably countersue for the cost and also damages to her name and her son's name as well, and she would likely win that counter lawsuit. So, as much as I like to see cheaters get their comeuppance and lawsuits go through against cheaters, I don't think it's exactly right for Epic to sit here and try and take a minor to court. Could there not have been some other way to resolve this issue? You know, instead of burying your head in the sand and saying, oh, you cheated, you're a bad person, so we're going to take you to court. You know, is there any other way they could not have just met with the mother and said, hey, look, your son's seriously screwing the game over here. You know, we're going to need you to stop this. Maybe you could help us stop these cheaters as well, you know. I don't know. That's my suggestion, but I don't think they have a case. I really don't. Maybe against the other guy, maybe against the other person, maybe against the websites, but not against a 14-year-old. I could be wrong, so feel free to comment down below. Sonic Forces gets a Sanic t-shirt. That's Sanic with an A, as a free download. I'm dead serious. On the Twitter account, they pictured down below a t-shirt that you can wear for creating custom characters, and it's Sanic Fast. Yes, the Sanic meme. I'm dead serious. Sanic Fast. It's a t-shirt you can download, and it's 100% free. I gotta tell you, man, of all the companies in the world that are just not so great, Sega is hilarious. Here's the Sanic Fast t-shirt as a free download. Thanks, Sega. Really appreciate it. So finally, I want to end on this story. Bungie changes the Destiny 2 XP system after players discover it was rigged. So I'm not 100% sure on the math or the mechanics here. I read through this several times and it's still very difficult for me to understand. Basically, there is a randomizer, and it's really weird to understand. The XP system across the board in games like Pokemon make it so that different Pokemon grow in different amounts of time. And so, but you get the same XP. So if you beat a Rattata and it's level 3, you will always get that XP from that Rattata unless you have items to up that. You never get less. It's never randomized. Here, they were alleging that you weren't getting the proper amount of XP for playing through the game. When you use XP, once you pass level 20, you can get more XP to get a Bright Engram, which is basically loot boxes for Destiny. Now, Destiny's loot boxes are much less than what is of a lot of other games. Nevertheless, they're still microtransactions and they're terrible. But you do get them free. Now, it would make sense that Bungie would rig the system so that you don't get as much XP so that you can't grind out free Bright Engrams. And that's essentially what was being alleged here, that they made it very difficult for you to get free Bright Engrams, and it was kind of being alluded to that you would have to work hard or buy Bright Engrams, and that it would be incentivized to buy Bright Engrams rather than earn them for free. And so they changed the system after acknowledging that, yes, there was indeed a problem with the XP system. Bungie, I gotta tell you, man, I still love your company with Halo, and after Halo Reach and when things were transferring over to 343, after you carpet banned so many people off of Firefight, I mean, it was like 25,000 players in one day were banned from earning credits, and they were reset. The ranks were reset on Halo Reach. It's complete and total crap, man. And then with Destiny shenanigans from Destiny 1, and then even more in Destiny 2, man. The game is okay. It's mediocre. I don't think it's a bad game itself. I think it's a substantial improvement over Destiny 1. But, I mean, you destroyed Destiny 2, and you keep destroying it, man. You keep destroying your series that a lot of people genuinely enjoy, including myself. I genuinely enjoy Destiny 2, but I'm not going to act like this BS doesn't exist. That's really crappy of you to do to people, Bungie. And you know what? I'm finished with you, man. I'm not buying Destiny 2 on PC, even though I really would like to play it at 60 FPS and 4K. I'm not doing it. I have it for the Xbox, and that's the end of it. I'm done supporting your company, and I hope a lot of other people follow me. You're grimy, you're dirty, and that's all I have to say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been this episode of What You Missed News. I'm sorry for closing on a low point, but please do like and share this news with a lot of other people, because there might be people out there who don't know about this stuff and might be getting into Destiny 2. So let's try and prevent that before Christmas comes. Yeah, maybe they can spend that money on something better other than a Battlefront 2 wannabe microtransaction kind of game here. Yeah, Destiny 2 is not that bad, but at the same time, it's still pretty bad that you have a rigged XP system, and yeah, the company has to fix it a month plus after the game's already been initially released. So pretty crazy. I've been your host, Protomario. I'm signing out once again. Give me a like, drop me a dislike, and a constructive comment down below, and I will see you guys next time on the next episode of What You Missed News. Really appreciate you stopping by and watching this video.